I started from scratch with Death Row, a new company. I was independent when I was Tupac. Me Against the World, I just bought my old managers out. I had it all now. I re-signed to be a part of this to make my own shit bigger.
Perhaps the most bizarre and in many ways the most predictable theory regarding Tupac's death is the idea that Tupac is still alive. Everyone from Elvis Presley to Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain and now Tupac is said by someone to have engineered their own faked deaths, and for a variety of reasons, none of which ever seems to be even remotely credible. In Tupac's case, the theory consists principally of a series of numerological coincidences, supported by the fact that the cover of his posthumous album, released under the name Machiavelli, represented him as a Christ figure, complete with crown of thorns. This supposedly symbolises Tupac's resurrection. But none of this is of much real help to anyone trying to get the truth. The name Machiavelli refers to the 16th century Italian philosopher and military strategist Niccolo Machiavelli, who advocated faking one's own death to fool one's enemies. As for the numerology, consider the following statistics. The album, released under the name of Tupac's alter ego, was entitled The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory. Tupac was shot on the 7th of September. Add the numbers of his age at the time of his death together, 2 and 5, and you get 7. Add together the numbers of the time of his death, 403. 4 plus 3 equals 7. Add together the numbers of the respective release dates of the 2 CD versions of Are You Still Down, the posthumous album released in both clean and explicit versions. The dates are November the 25th and December the 16th, 1997. 2 plus 5 equals 7. 6 plus 1 equals 7. The list goes on. All this is supposed to indicate that Tupac is alive and is directing his affairs from some secret location away from the stresses of life as a superstar. And if you think it might be a good idea to exhume Tupac's coffin to see who's inside, you're out of luck there too. Tupac was cremated the day after he died. In the film Tupac and Biggie, one of the interviewees remarks that the only meaningful way to judge a person is by their response to adversity. One also gets the feeling that in the highly charged testosterone-fueled world of rap, a man might be judged by his ability to surround himself with beautiful women. As a magnet for trouble, Tupac had more than his fair share. One of his more notorious disagreements with the law concerned the sexual abuse of a young woman in his hotel room at the Parker Meridien, an expensive Manhattan hotel. According to her deposition, Tupac and 3 other men sodomized her repeatedly. Tupac beat the sodomy charge but was sentenced to 2.5 years for the lesser crime of first-degree sexual abuse. He served 8 months. On the day before the verdict was announced, he was shot for the first time. A total of 5 bullets were fired into him by men trying to rob him. His remarkable recovery may have given rise to the notion that Tupac was invulnerable. Sadly, it was not to be the case. At the time of his death, he was allegedly engaged to Kidada Jones, Quincy Jones's daughter, who had now a reputation for rudeness that many of Tupac's friends were at a loss to know what he saw in her. The only woman ever legitimately entitled to be called his wife was Keisha Morris, married to Tupac for almost a year. She said she believed he was only interested in Kidada to get to Quincy Jones, commonly acknowledged to be one of the most powerful black men in the music industry. She also implied in an interview that the engagement to Tupac may only have existed in Kidada's mind and not in reality. In his book of the time he spent as Tupac's bodyguard, Frank Alexander relates being told by Tupac that, as they watched Madonna on television one evening, Tupac told him that he was at one time involved with her and that it was while he was living in New York. But as his family moved to Baltimore when Tupac was 15 and he subsequently spent little time in New York, the allegation is difficult to verify. Easier to attest are his relationships with the actress Sally Richardson, Jada Pinkett, latterly Will Smith's partner, and Arnell Simpson, O.J. Simpson's daughter. More controversially, Tupac was also linked briefly with Faith Evans, Biggie Smalls' estranged wife, who Tupac boasted about in an attempt to humiliate Biggie, and which led to the rumours of Biggie being behind Tupac's killing. Keisha Morris has told interviewers that Tupac was initially attracted to her because she was unimpressed when he first told her who he was. For her, the stress of being married to a rap superstar proved too much. And they did not marry, as had been claimed, so that Tupac could get conjugal visits during his jail term for the sex abuse rap. There were no children and no prenuptial agreement. It seems that Keisha was probably one of the few women in Tupac's life who managed to keep her feet, at least some of the time, close to the ground. Perhaps for that reason, as much as any other, it was doomed to fail. She too claimed that Tupac told her he would be dead by the time he was 25, and that he would be murdered. She divorced him in time to avoid being his widow.